there, I'm Beth with 50 Plus Beauty, and I'm thrilled to have you here with me today to introduce a brand new iRestore. This is the iRestore Elite, and I have been using it for the past about 2.5 months, and I think my results have been phenomenal, and I can't wait to share them with you. For those of you who followed my channel, you know I've been using the iRestore for about 3 years now, and before I started, let me show you the pictures of myself that I took in the mirror before I started, and they are kind of horrifying. As you can see there on the front of my hair, I was really thinning, and then on the side, my temples are going way back. I used to joke and say they were my televangelist temples, but it really wasn't a joke. For those of you who have suffered from hair loss, and any woman over maybe 40 or 50, you do start to lose hair. But if you have suffered from hair loss and you've seen the bald patches like I did, it is really horrifying, and it is super aging. And in fact, of all the beauty devices that I have used on my channel, and I've used a few, the iRestore is really my #1 anti-aging beauty device because it has given me back my hair. And I will say that when I started my channel about 6 years ago, and for the first 3 years before the iRestore, I used hair extensions, clip-in hair extensions in almost every video because I didn't have a whole lot of hair on top, but it was long and stringy and thin, and I felt like I needed the bulk of the hair extensions to give myself some hair. Alan hated them though, and I was so happy that when I started using the iRestore, I quit the hair extensions and I never looked back. I have never used them since. And in just a few minutes, I'll be showing you some great before and after pictures from this new device and explaining all the details about the device. But before I get to that, I did want to show you the outfit and jewelry that I'm wearing today. Love this sparkly top for sure. It's 4th of July here, and I just feel like this will be a very blingy addition to the family dinner I'm having tonight. And if you're not yet a subscriber, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. And when you click that little bell, that just sends you instant notification of any new pro-aging videos I have posted. Okay, let's get into this, and so I remember to tell you there is a discount code below the video in case you're interested in purchasing your own iRestore device. And before I get into showing you my 2-month results using the iRestore Elite, I thought it was important to share a little bit about my hair growth journey because it has been 3 years with iRestore and I will never leave iRestore. I have absolutely loved the hair growth results I have achieved and I want to keep them going, so I plan to keep using their devices. And before I get into sharing my 2-month before and after pictures, I did want to tell you a bit about my hair growth journey. And it starts with the hair loss that I showed you before. After I saw the huge bald patches I was getting in the mirror, I reached out to the iRestore people, but that was after seeing some videos by Dr. Dre, because I have to admit, initially I thought the iRestore and LED light therapy for hair growth, I thought it was kind of a gimmick. But then I saw Dr. Dre had a great video. In fact, she had several videos in support of the iRestore device. She says not only is it scientifically valid, but she's noticed good results on her personally, which was all I needed to see. So I reached out to the iRestore people, started using the device, and let me show you my first 18 months results. That was the before picture in August of 2020, about 3 years ago. And as you can see, my temples are very sparse. And then after 3 months of using the device, those sparse places are filling in. You can see all those baby hairs there. And then after 6 months of starting the iRestore Professional, those baby hairs have grown into large adult hairs, and it's really covering up all the bald patches. And then at 18 months, a year later, on March 22nd, as you can see, my hair just looks full and thick with no bald patches at all. It was absolutely wonderful. And I've had several videos on my channel explaining the scientific benefits of using medical grade lasers and red light therapy in hair growth, so I won't go into that again. But what I haven't shown you is a comparison of the 3 devices, so let me show you that. The 3 devices are the iRestore Essential, the iRestore Professional, and the iRestore Elite, their newest device, and the prices range from $695 up to $2195 for the Elite device. And then on the 3rd line down where it says lasers and LEDs, the Essential has 51 lasers and 69 LEDs, the Professional device has 82 lasers, and the Elite, the newest device, has 300 lasers and 200 LEDs, and then the operating time also varies. For the Essential and the Professional, you use the device 25 minutes every other day, but on the Elite device, you use it 12 minutes daily. And actually, although Alan and I both have used the Professional device very faithfully every other day for 25 minutes, I really do prefer the 12-minute usage time on the iRestore Elite. Something about doing it every day too is just super easy. Basically, we keep the device in the magazine rack of our family room, and every morning when we're drinking our coffee or doing our prayers or even meditating, we come out and Alan will use the device or I will use the device, and we're always reminding each other. But since you do it every day, it's really easy to get in the habit of it, and I really like the shorter time period. 25 minutes was sometimes hard to do before, but you can always find an extra 12 minutes. And if you would also like to start meditation, it is really great to be able to combine meditation with this device because you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. Okay, now we're ready for what we've all been waiting for, unveiling my 2 months results using the new iRestore Elite. But first, I did want to tell you some details because since those last 18-month very successful pictures, I had COVID not once but twice. And so let me give you a history of the timeline of that because I did experience COVID hair loss. So again, in my first 18 months, I had stellar results. That was from August 2020 through March of 2022. But unfortunately, just 3 months after that last picture was taken, I got COVID. I went on a girls' trip to New York City, and we actually marched in a parade with thousands of people, which, come to think of it, wasn't the smartest idea. But I came home, and I remember coming home in a mask thinking I wasn't feeling that well. And then the next day I got COVID, and then a few days later Alan got it too. But I did have COVID, got through it okay, but I felt like my hair was maybe not as thick as it had been, but there were no bald patches or anything like that, and I kept using the iRestore through it, and I think maybe that did protect my hair some, and I kept using the iRestore Professional device, and then I got COVID again not too long ago. In March of 2023, just a few months back, I had a hip replacement surgery, and I did a great video on that hip replacement surgery. It is one of my best videos ever. It is raw and very natural, and I would love to have you take a look at that. But in that video, you will see that I start out right after the hip replacement feeling really great, and then 2 days later, I'm like, oh, I must have overdone it. I'm not feeling very well. And then a few days later, I get a positive test for COVID. So I had COVID again a second time. And I really think that I did have a bit of hair loss during both of those bouts with COVID. It wasn't severe though, and I really credit that with using the iRestore Professional. But then about a month and a half after my second round of COVID, I started the new iRestore Elite. On April 15th, I took my before pictures, and here are my before and afters. Here's a look at my hairline. And as you can see in the before picture on April 15th, I do have kind of a semicircle shaped piece where my hair is rather thin. And then about 2 months later on June 28th, I feel like that crescent shaped area is kind of starting to fill in. And it's so funny because that little crescent shaped hole in my hair was on the right side of my scalp. So let me show you my before and after pictures looking at the right side. And on the right, as you can see in the before picture on April 15th, I really do have some hair loss going on there where the red arrow is. There is an area where the temples are receding, and I just have a very small amount of hair there, and it looks like baby hairs. But then on June 28th, as you can see, that area has pretty much filled in. And I think it is so interesting because you can tell that this new device is much more powerful than the old device by my first 2 months results this time. Because in the first 2 months, that little right area had really filled in with hair. Well, let me show you again the first 18 months picture. And there, as you can see, at 3 months, I'm just barely starting to fill in there. It took me 6 months on the old device to really show full hair growth there. And I really think that after the 2 months, that bald patch is almost totally filled in, which is pretty amazing. And it's evident that this new, more powerful device really does increase your hair growth even more quickly than the iRestore Professional did. Now let's take a look at my before and afters on the left side. And as you can see on the left at the red arrows, in the before picture, I have a little hole there in my hair. It looks like my hair is starting to recede there. But then in the after picture, it looks like those hairs are starting to grow in. Well, in the past, even when I was using the iRestore Professional device, it was kind of heartbreaking because I saw people in the comments section saying, I can't afford that device, so I'm just going to have to continue to lose my hair, which is really sad. That isn't really true because they could have used the Essential device, you can use the Professional, or you can step up to the iRestore Elite. My belief is that they all do the same thing, that it probably just takes longer to fill in your hair with those lesser devices because they have fewer medical lasers and LED red lights. And if you want the fastest results possible, the iRestore Elite, I think, really just does a beautiful job. And Alan and I both really swear by these iRestore products, and we plan to use them for the rest of our lives because something I learned about hair growth is very, very interesting, and about hair loss. And that is that when you first start to lose your hair, that is the best time to pump it back up. You can get those hair follicles to start going again. Basically, the red light therapy just comes in. It's like watering your lawn. Those red lights are encouraging your hair to grow, which is just wonderful. But if you wait too long and you have too many bald patches, or your hair has receded to too great a point, it is past the point of no return, which is really sad. So even though my hair looks really good now, I will continue using the iRestore device for the rest of my life. And the neat thing is there is a 1-year money-back guarantee, so you have a full year to make sure that the iRestore device you choose works effectively for you. Well, that was a look at my 2-month results using the iRestore Elite. And if you'd like to see more in terms of my future hair growth journey, please leave a comment in the comment section, because I would love to share my future hair growth results with this great new device. Well, I always like to leave you with a little thought for the day. And recently, if you've watched my channel to the end of each video, you know that I've been working on this book, The 7-Day Mental Diet. And I have been on the 7-day mental diet now for about 10 days, or maybe even a little more. And it has been life-changing for me. My level of joy has just really increased in my life. In fact, yesterday morning I got up and I noticed in the bathroom that I was singing, "Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day." I shouldn't sing in front of you because I have a terrible voice, but I can't believe I was singing. My husband almost irritates me because he goes around singing so often because he's such a happy guy. But that was so amazing that I also was singing, "Oh, what a beautiful morning." And I really felt like that. I'm really feeling the joy, and it's just wonderful. And so because this is working so well for me and I'm continuing to use this, in fact, every morning I read the highlighted portions to remind myself of what I'm supposed to be doing for the day. And basically what you do is very simple. For 7 days, you turn out any negative thoughts, any mean thoughts towards others, any resentment thoughts, any lack of confidence thoughts. Any negative thought, you turn it out, is what he says, and then you replace it with a positive thought. And this is what he says he means by a negative thought. First of all, what do I mean by negative thinking? Well, a negative thought is any thought of failure, disappointment, or trouble. Any thought of criticism, or spite, or jealousy, or condemnation of others. You can't gossip about people either, ladies. Or self-condemnation. You can't put yourself down either. Any thought of sickness or accident, or in short, any kind of limitation or pessimistic thinking. And he fully admits in this book that it is not possible to never have a negative thought come into your mind, or to never start to gossip, or to never start to condemn others. But he says when that happens, you need to be watching for that, and you need to immediately turn out that thought and replace it with a more positive thought, a thought of gratitude, something like that. And I have to admit that especially in the first few days of the 7-day mental diet, it can be a little tough because I personally had a lot of negative thoughts coming in. I'd gotten into the habit, I think, of thinking negatively. And that's what this book does. It helps you create a habit of positive thoughts and positivity and feeling good about yourself and really not gossiping or not putting others down, because whenever we put out negative thoughts, words, or actions against another, it really multiplies and comes right back on us. So friends, if you'd like to learn more about this book, it's only like under $5. I'll link it below the video. And if you're on the 7-day mental diet, or you're using any ways to make yourself happier and more positive, I hope you'll share the information in the comment section below the video, because that way we can help each other. And I look forward to seeing all of you in my next video.